Are you tired of seeing things live? Does the word safety translate to cowardice in your head? If you say yes to both of these inquiries, then I'm certain you'd enjoy going for two-handed axes in your next Stoneshard playthrough. Unlike spears or two-handed swords, everything in the two-handed axe skill tree is geared towards killing the enemy. There is no such thing as a skill that improves block chance nor dodge in it, similar to the two-handed mace skill tree. One may argue that technically, one-handed maces and axes do not have any defensive elements in their skill tree as well, which is true. The thing is, there's always the option to bring a shield when you go with one-handed weapons, so you have more opportunities to mitigate damage compared to two-handers. So in the end, you're left with two options when wielding this weapon class. The first option is armor. Simply put, you just try to stack as much protection as possible to mitigate any hits that actually lands. Technically speaking, you could go for block chance through adding the strength stat, but this is not something I recommend, as two-handed axes do not have any passives nor actives that increases this. And even if you do manage to increase the block chance to a high enough level, it only applies against melee attacks. The fact that two-handed axes have the worst block coefficient of all two-handed weapons makes this even more dubious. The second option is dodge through increasing agility and wearing lightweight armor. As of the survival skill tree patch, hand efficiency now affects two-handed weapons as well, which makes agility a more optimal pick for this weapon in my opinion, since it ensures that enemy attacks will most of the time have fumble levels of damage through the partial dodge mechanic or perhaps even dodge the attack completely. The small fatigue penalty light armors have also allows the player to use more active skills in the fight. If you are like me and hate spending money on treatises, it is important to understand that this weapon class does not let you dump all your points into a single stat. There are three stats that matter in two-handed axes: strength, agility, and perception. Luckily, you don't actually have to spread your stats all over these three. You just have to choose two out of all three. I prefer to go with strength and perception, since strength not only lets me do more damage and crit harder, it also lets me escape the assholes with nets. Perception, on the other hand, lets me hit people who dodge a lot and crit more often. I prefer to not go with agility though, since rampage helps with fumbling. Now it might seem that this video would just consist of me disparaging this whole weapon class, but here is where I talk about the main strength of two-handed axes. It would be offense. Everything in this tree is geared towards injuring and destroying the enemy, times 2. This weapon class is also capable of lessening the block chance of an enemy, which is a big thing since accuracy doesn't exactly reduce block chance in this game. The rampage stance is very deadly as well, owing to the fact that it takes out 15% of an enemy's total hit points in every third hit. Every skill you use when the stance is active increases crit efficiency and bleed chance, whilst reducing the energy costs of skills and fumble chance at the same time. Theoretically, this does mean that you can benefit from not having a lot of agility, since the stance lessens the fumble chance by a lot. Not to mention that choosing the glaive variant of two-handed axes further minimises the chances of fumbling. During my playthroughs with this weapon class, I find that the offensive capabilities of two-handed axes are good enough to the point where you generally cripple enemies enough with injuries to not have to worry about defense. There are cases where its lack of defensive capabilities does end up being troublesome, however. It would be the time when I tried to slay the troll. Due to its humongous health bar, which in turn extends to body part hit points, I cannot injure the troll early on. The fact that it regains hit points does not help. Still, this is an extreme case. I didn't really have any issue with how the weapon handles overall. That's all I have to say in this video. I hope it was amusing. If you liked it, please subscribe, and as always, have a great time.